Welcome back to Sub-Zero Hero, the start of Season 8. Last season, probably our best yet, but it ended in disappointment. In this episode, we're going to kick off our new campaign. And what are the expectations for this year? Is it survival? Is it mid-table obscurity? Or are we going for a push for promotion? Well, today's opening game of the season might go some way to determining what our expectations are. So here's where the media have got us pegged for this season. Down there in 10th, 25-1 shots to win the Norwegian First Division. You'll see that prediction-wise, they've got us well clear of that bottom three, but nowhere near finishing in the playoffs either. So we're going to replicate last season. We're going to be overachieving again. There is good news, though. Look at the media Dream 11. Not only is Mats Naser in there as the division's best right-back, and we've still got him on loan for the next 6 months. But little Jonas Hartvigsson is the best midfielder in this division as well over there on the left wing. So to have a couple of players in the Media Dream 11 shows our youngsters are starting to develop more promisingly. And better news, the transfer window has just closed yesterday. No bids came in for any of our key players. So we've got a settled squad. However, we very nearly added to our squad during the transfer window. You'll see Haugesund are still in our division. They beat us in the playoffs last season, and they lost in the playoff final on penalties to the team that finished third bottom of the division above, and we were locked in a transfer battle with Haugesund for our former midfielder Ludvig Dreyer, who became available. We had a bid accepted for less than £10,000 for him. We don't necessarily need him in our starting 11, but our squad is so limited as we rely just on youth prospects that bringing back one of our former players was a good way of bolstering the squad. We had our bid accepted. We had a contract accepted by Ludvig, but he decided to join Haugesund instead of us. So we're going to be coming up against him this season. What the fans' reaction will be to that young man, I'm not entirely sure. It means that our squad has not got any new additions to it outside of what we've had in our latest youth intake. We had a new head of youth development bringing this intake through. We should probably show you what he's delivered. So let's take a look at the rascal that we've got bringing our youth players through now. This is Erland Sivertsen, who we appointed last season, a perfectionist personality, which means his professionalism, his ambition and his determination are fairly good. His working with youngsters is okay. Granted, judging player ability and potential are not great, but he plays a preferred formation that's similar to what we play, and his preferred playing style is passing, which I'm hoping might mean that he brings through slightly more technical players than we've been having recently. We've had ones that have come through with pretty good mentals and pretty trainable physicals, but technically we've been producing some pretty ropey players. We're hoping Mr. Sivertsen might help with that, but we should probably check out his first intake. He promised me a golden generation. It came through and I clicked on them, and I have never been more underwhelmed by a youth intake in my life. He brought through a lot of players that were just a little bit meh, if I'm honest. Players such as Bjorn Buggy. He's got a reasonable personality. He's mercenary, and you can see all of his attributes are okay. The coaches rate him as somebody that has potential. But is this a player that's really going to be getting into a team that's pushing for promotion to the top flight? I don't know. Dribbling, finishing, composure, positioning, none of them really great. He's not very strong. He's not very good in the air. You never know. Sometimes once these players get training, they develop into more than you first see in them, but I've not been blown away. I love the idea of Storm Carlisle just for his Hollywood name, but his training is abysmal, and his attributes have not been great either. So another player that I'm just not sure is going to make it. Kevin Misunderstood was a player that came through as a right winger. He looks reasonably quick. Those physicals are okay, although he's weak as a kitten, and his crossing and his dribbling are not great, and his vision and his passing are not great. His off the ball needs a lot of work, so Mr. Misunderstood is going to need to train awfully well in this first year. The player that the head of the youth development was most excited about was Christian Dahl, which is great because he can play out there at left back, and we really need a left back. But despite the fact that he could be 4.5 stars worth of potential, do we need a left back with pace of 6, crossing of 5, teamwork of 5, work rate of 5? I was clicking through these players and I was very, very underwhelmed. We could have done with another striker as well. The best we got was Ahmed Malik, an Iraqi who's quick, can finish. The composure's not really there. Neither is the off-the-ball movement. We're not writing him off. Little Chrissy Nuts wasn't the finished product when he first came through the academy, so maybe Ahmed Malik might turn into a player that we can use. And then there was another player that the coaches rated pretty highly, Marcus Jonsson. Great again because he's a right back. Fairly ambitious, decent personality, bags of potential according to those assessing him. But he's not great again, is he? He's quite slow. The physicals are not brilliant. He's another player that would blow over in a gust of wind. For a fullback, he's not the best crosser of the ball either. So we were starting to get a little bit despondent and beginning to think, quite honestly, that we'd made a mistake replacing our head of youth development. But there was one. When I first clicked on him, I didn't think that was great. You've got to remember our youth intake came through 2 months ago now. And one player has been training incredibly well, and I actually think he's going to be getting first team football this season. This is Georges Luel Ago, an Eritrean who's also got dual Norwegian nationality. He's already gone up 1 attribute point in lots of areas. Those green arrows maybe make him look a little bit better than he actually is, but as a defensive-minded fullback, he's alright. His marking and tackling are good, positioning's already improved. Physically, he wasn't the best when he came through, but his pace and acceleration of both already gone up by 1. Going forward, things like the crossing and the dribbling are not great, but given how well he's trained already, little Georges is the player that we've got the highest hopes for. Certainly defensively, he looks really good, and with things like teamwork being so high, he's very, very fit and he's determined, aggressive, he reads the play well. I think there's something to work with there, and when he started to train and develop, well, it made me a little bit more confident that maybe our head of youth development is not an absolute bum after all, but we probably need to now get into the first team squad, show you how some of those have been developing as we get ready for today's game. So out of last year's youth intake, one player stands head and shoulders above everybody in the squad for how they developed. This is Martin Dusund Ibsen, and another thing that gives me hope for Ago is that when this player came through in the last youth intake, I was underwhelmed. I was a terrible judge of character because he's gone up 71 attribute points since last season. He's gone up a few more actually since I plugged it all into my spreadsheet. He's now listed as a promising midfielder, potentially a 5-star potential one. He's branded a leading first division midfielder. And although he doesn't play very well, let's remind ourselves he was averaging just over 6.5 in his first season at the club. If we can get his role correct and he carries on the rate of development that he's had, I mean, even if he only trains on half as many attribute points this season as he did last, he is going to be one heck of a player by the end of this campaign. So we're very happy with him. Another player who had a good year's training last year is Trond Agna Bratton. Now, when we sold Nessa, we were eyeing this up potentially as our replacement right back. Somebody said down in the comments, looks a little bit more like a centre back to me. I tend to agree with that comment, and I'm thinking that's where we're going to develop him this season. He's 6'3". We've been working on his physicals to try and bulk him up and speed him up a little bit. And defensively, he's not a million miles away from where you'd want him to be, apart from that subpar aggression. So I'm thinking Bratton is going to be getting game time this season, including starting today as our skipper. Henrik Asali Hansen has stubbed his toe, So he's going to be out for the game we've got today. We're also going to start giving a little bit more game time to Hugo Riding. Again, not the quickest of players or the most technical, but again, he's training very well. He's played a lot of first-team football during pre-season, and he allows us to throw Hartvigsson up front. He continues to develop pretty nicely. Another 12 attribute point bump for him last season. He's probably getting close to maxing out his full development, I think. But he's going to be our striker today because little Chrissy Nuts has not been training fantastically during the pre-season, and he has been missing a lot of chances in some of our games. So we're going to go with Hartvigsson today. We've got maybe one more player to bring you up to date on. This is Hugo Norum Danielson. Now, I'm now penciling him in as the player who is going to replace Nessa as our right wing back. We've got his determination up from a 4 to a 5, still listed as unambitious, but we've just had another report from our coaches saying he's made improvements to his professionalism once more and is looking more determined than ever. So I think his mentoring group has got him going in the right direction. We've got pretty much a familiar team today. We've still got Bjorn again, Pedersen as our first choice keeper. We're going with Kristoffersen today because we're playing another team that were in the Premier Division last season. That's the third time at this level we've had a newly relegated club to play. But I'm thinking our mate George is going to be getting plenty of game time this season. We're going to be playing Lars Ole Idøy Hansen in the Norwegian under-19s during the off-season, and he's going to be a centre-back for us today. We've got Nessa for 6 months. We're not going to use him in every game because we've got players to develop. We've also got the old man of the team now at 22, Andre Gersa, still looking for him to make huge improvements in his training. I don't think they're ever going to come. One player that's training a lot better, though, is Ole Christian Jensen. He's going to be our more defensive-minded midfielder for us today. Then completing the lineup, we've got Hugo Emper, improved by a disappointing 8 attribute points last season. I'm not as confident as lots of people in the comments that this is a good player, but at least he had a better goal-scoring campaign last campaign than he did the season before at a lower level. And these are the boys we're going to send out against Tromsdalen today, who've just come down from the Premier Division. They're a far more fancied side than us to make any kind of impact towards the top of the table. This is going to be a tough game, but that's how we like it, isn't it? So we are underway. I'm not hugely confident about this game because of losing Asali Hansen. It leaves us very inexperienced at the back, especially at centre half. But one of the consequences of always trying to be developed players is we've just been awarded a penalty very early on in this game. Here goes Hugo. He has missed them before, by the way. What's he got this time? He's tucked it away. Whew. Well, that is a good start to a game. But as I was saying, we have got players to develop this season. But we're a little bit weak at centre-back. And so we're trying to blood Bratton, but it means that we're very young, very inexperienced back there. And I'm not expecting to keep clean sheets. We didn't keep many last season. I'm not sure how many we're going to keep this season, but we're in again, you know. Hartvigson's had a little go. That's been charged down. Was that the highlight, though? Because Kristoffersen's going to let fly. And we're only in the 8th minute. And he's just arrowed one into the top corner. Pre-season's gone pretty well. I'm not going to lie. I think we beat Tromsø, our city neighbours. I think we got a draw against Bodø Glimt. And I think we got a draw against Rosenborg as well, who won the league, obviously, last season. So that was a pretty good pre-season for us, but didn't necessarily hint at a start as good as this, because Emper has now fired us into a 3-0 lead 11 minutes into the game. Not sure what's going on. I mean, we were labouring to 3-0 wins against some non-league teams during pre-season. Maybe Sondal's confidence, having just been relegated, is not great because Hugo scoring goals. We're 3-0 up. We've got long-range screamers going in. And we're straight into another highlight. We're looking lively again, although Riding can't get onto that ball. We're going to have to win it back. At 3-0 up after 10 minutes. Well, it does fill you with confidence that we might get a draw from this game. And here goes Gerser. You'll see that he's not the quickest, but he does play well. You can always trust Gerser in the big games to put in a pretty decent performance. And here is our other Hugo Riding. And he probably should have made it 4-0 there. Look at the XG already. Defending to do though. What have we got? That's a bit of a close shave, isn't it? At 3-0, I am in no way confident that we're going to win this game. And it is raining highlights once more. Hugo can't get onto the ball. But Ibsen can. Now Emper dropping deep. Jensen. We're looking quite composed. We're actually playing a little bit of football as well. We've got it forward. Riding's in again. Not our ball that time, is it? In fact, this might not even be our highlight. We were deep into their area and they've broken on us. My goodness, we're doing a good job of winning the ball back though. What's Hugo got? What's Gerser got? He's in. Oh, he's forced to save. I don't think that was on target, but God bless their goalie. He's tipped it wide for us. Gerser's on the corners and the keeper's had to spring and make another save. I'm going to call this performance majestic. We're playing incredibly well. Riding's going to pounce on the loose ball. Come on, we're in again here. He's cut inside onto his left foot. He's gone outside again. 20 minutes gone. What a start to the game we're having. We're even going to pause and we're going to see if we can just G them up with a little bit of praise. Done a good job on the body language. 10 shots, 12 now, 8 on target. Corner coming in. Not this time. And rather than chase down the ball, this player here has decided to just run back to his position. Bratton. And let them escape down the wing with the ball. We've won it back again somehow though. Nessa back to Bratton. He's gone long. I wish he hadn't. Now we've got to do it again. He's going to have another go. He's gone long again. Hugo's on it. He's won it. Hugo seems to be pretty heavily involved today. Oh, and Hartfixon has just missed. What a free header. What was that? 6-7 yards from goal? And this is a half of football, the likes of which I don't think we've seen. Remember, Tromsdalen are a team. Proper club. Professional. In the Premier Division last season. Gerser has swung in a corner. And Adoy Hansen has just nodded us into a 4-0 lead and we're not even at the half-time break. They've not had a shot on target yet. We've put 4 past them. Well, this was not what we were expecting at all. And now Gerser's coming at them and he's waltzing through and he's in. He's dragged an effort wide. I'm going to say we've missed some chances that were probably better than the efforts we've been scoring in this game. And here we go at them again. Hartfixon's come back and won the ball. We're looking absolutely rampant. He's got players with him. They've not worked that particularly well, but Gerser could get the ball across. And we had players in the box if he'd have been able to find them, but we seem to keep winning the ball back quite well. It's just wave after wave of Tromsdalen attacks. I'm not used to this. Gerser's coming at him again. He's running his fullback ragged. And Hugo now has had an effort that he's nodded wide. That would have been Hugo's hat-trick. Well, I'm absolutely flabbergasted and not sure what I'm going to go and say to the boys, but we best fashion up some kind of team talk. We'll see you back for the second half, ready for a 4-4 draw. And away we go for the second half then. At 4-0 up, I still gave them that you might be winning, but that could all change if you let your performance levels drop. And they responded well to it, so let's see what they can produce in this second period. A lot of these highlights are starting with them attacking and we're winning the ball back and countering on them. Could this be another one? I'm still not hugely comfortable, even with a 4-0 lead, because I know we're playing a good side. They've got players in their ranks with values of more than £1 million. And I can still see this ending badly for us. And we've given away a penalty of our own now. Riding has lunged in. Looked like he won the ball to me, but these graphics are often a little bit misleading. And is this the start of the fight back? We need Pedersen to bail us out here. He's gone the wrong way. They've tucked it down the middle. He's run and collected the ball, so he thinks that Tromsdalen is still in this game. Oh, Pedersen has almost touched his post before the ball's been kicked. And now we need a little bit more from the players. I asked them not to let their performance levels drop. And they have a little bit. They've got 4 shots though. That penalty's their only one on target. And I reckon maybe some fresh legs, particularly maybe replacing Gerser and Emper, might just help us in this final 25. Okay, we're back underway. Schernesson's come on the right wing. He can run at tired defenders. He is very quick. And little Chrissy Nuts has gone up front, which means Hartvigsson has now become the complete forward. And Nutsy is going to be the advanced forward. We're looking pretty comfortable now. It doesn't look like that penalty has sparked the revival I thought it might. And with 10 minutes to go, maybe we've just got the luxury of giving a competitive debut to little Georges Luel Ago. Get him his first team appearance. Just start ingratiating him into first division football. Bit of a dance squib the second half, to be honest. We did all that damage in the first 11 minutes, but I am not going to turn my nose up at an opening day win against a team that last season was playing Premier Division football. And apart from that one blot on the copybook with Riding diving in and giving away a penalty, we have looked superb. And we're maybe not done as Schernusson tries to get Knutson in. And maybe it's going to be the end of the game. Deuce and Ibsen seems to have played an awful lot better than he has done in a lot of the games we've seen him in. In fact, he's gone and got himself an 8.0 rating. And what would you say the negatives are from that performance? No goals from Hartvigsson. Nessa still looks like he's not interested in being here and isn't playing well at right back. Well, don't worry, because he won't be playing at right back in every game. But I'm going to say we're actually going... We're going to outstretch the arms. Why not? Nobody gave us a chance. We've done it. And I dare say that might even put us in the promotion places after our first game of the season. So welcome back to Sub-Zero Hero. Season 8 is underway. Last season ended a little bit disappointingly. But this season has got off to a roaring start. We're going to go away, play a few games offline. By the time you see us next, we'll see whether we're still in that playoff contention hunt.